My name is Sal. It's short for Salazar, which is my last name, and I've been locked up 29 years now. A typical day in here for me is just doing my best to stay busy. I work in the recreation department. I do the beekeeping program up there. Every day is different. I take a lot of pride in that. It's been a big blessing. I typically spend my mornings, first thing in the morning, I'll get up, wash my face, and brush my teeth. Once I wash up and get ready, I usually get something to eat, and then I'll read. I try to read, whether it's the Bible, whether it's a Bible study, or my daily bread, or a book that I happen to be reading. I try to do that every day. I pray every morning, just have a conversation with God. Sometimes it's a conversation like I'm talking to him like a friend or a father. Other times it's a little bit more, holy. Then he will be honored. Whether it's the Spirit speaking to me, whether it's me sometimes, I don't know. I give all the glory to God. This Bible was given to me by a good friend, and he's standing right behind you. Yeah. But yeah, I'll sit right here. I'll put my music on. Sometimes I'll read the Bible. It's a good study Bible right here. So I'll read a chapter. Then I'll read all the notes on the bottom. Highlight all the good stuff. So I'll do a lot of that. In the morning, I'll mix it up. I got a really good book right here that helped me. I found this downstairs by the microwave. But it's called The Appeal to the Courtroom of Heaven. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's a parallel discussion about like the courtrooms in life. It was written by an author whose son caught a murder case. So she's talking about the attorney. So the attorney in our case would be Jesus Christ, right? The accuser would be the prosecuting attorney, and then you got the appellate process and whatnot. So the appeal to the courtroom of heaven is the highest judge. These courtrooms down here, they might tell me that I'm here for the rest of my life, but I'm appealing to the highest court in all of the land, in the heavens. You know what I mean? That's the appeal to the courtroom of heaven. So this was a really good book. It opened up some eyes. It got a lot of good prayers at the end, prayers for protection, knowing God's purpose, health and healing, fear, worry, and anxiety, which we all have and deal with on a daily basis. Faith, for my faith not to fail. So that's a really good book there. But I always do this. This is what I read first every day. It's the quickest read. It's our daily bread, but it jumpstarts my day. So I'll read my little daily bread, say a little prayer, and then I always begin with a prayer, and I always ask God to open up my heart, man, to let me hear the Spirit talking to me. Let me hear what He has to say to me, if anything. Some days are a little bit quieter than others, but I always start with the prayer, and then I get to reading my Bible or my Bible study. Some days I'll wake up and I know that I'm gonna come out here and work on the bees, so I'll prepare for that mentally. I just want to be productive. I want to be stronger than I was yesterday, because every day I fail. I fail in many areas every day. I just need the faith, and I ask for His strength, just to help me be productive, help me be kind, help me be loving, help me be giving, help me not to judge, make me slow to anger. I always ask God to help me be productive in some kind of way. Leave that cell about 8:30 in the morning, come to work, and I get to it. You ready to do these bees? Yes, sir. Let's go. Burning daylight. I have to stay flexible because it depends on staff members at times. We have a bunch of beehives behind the gym, and if I got to do something with them, I need a staff member to escort me. So I can't plan, I'm gonna go out here at the bees at 9 o'clock because the staff member might not be available because he has other duties. So I have to pivot. If I can't do that at 9 o'clock, then maybe I can hit the yard, walk a couple laps, run a couple laps, do a little bit of calisthenics. I got to be flexible in everything I do around here. More. All right, that's good. No, that's too much. I'm just kidding.
It might sound cliche, but I've always had the dream of getting out of here and giving back, being able to guide others and teach others and to guide troubled men and show them a better way, you know, a way that I didn't learn on my own. You know, I may not be able to do it in the fashion that I desire at this particular time, but I am able to do it with the bees. Well, this beekeeping program, you know, it gave me the opportunity to give back now. First, I got into it to be busy. I thought it was cool, and I got into it with my boss, you know, just to add something to the day, you know, break the monotony up. But the more I got into it, and the more I learned, I developed a passion for it. So now I like to share that passion with others. I really enjoy guiding these bees. We have a couple swarms that we caught here recently on the institution. You know, we catch them and we put them in these hive boxes, right? So when we put them in these hive boxes, they haven't built comb yet, the honeycomb, right? So what we have to do later on, we feed them a little bit of sugar. It entices them to build. They don't have nowhere to store it. So I'm helping them build. They're building a home, building a foundation. These bees, you know, when they build this home, you know, they're gonna go out into the world, they're gonna help pollinate, you know, they're gonna help others. They help us as humans. You know, so that's something that I kind of want to do with man as well, you know, and even if it's just a little way, even if it's just planting a seed, you know, other people around here, they water it. So I do my best to just plant seeds here and there, give a little bit of advice, and you never know what can happen. Yeah, we're gonna have to fix these. We should have just Yeah, I know. I believe society views me in different ways. You know, man, it's just looking within my own family. You know, I mean, I got a few family members who have stuck with me over the years. They've seen the change in me. I'm closer to what God wanted designed for my life now, even though I'm stuck here behind these walls. However, I still have family members that still view me as this young kid who was lost, out of control, addicted to drugs, running the streets, gang banging, in and out of juvenile hall. So it can be both. Some parts of society will see me in a negative light. You know, I'm gonna be labeled in a negative way for the rest of my life by some. But other people can see past the exterior and see how I can give back, and they'll see me in a positive light. And I try to focus on that more than anything else.
Well, we got to be careful.
Yeah.
We got to,
Right.
you know, we got to be careful for what we pray for.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's good, man.
I want society just to view me as the person that I am. And I can look in the mirror today and I really believe I'm a good man. I've come a long way. I've learned from many of my mistakes, and there have been many, you know, but I always try to just better myself every day, you know, and I just want society to look at that and judge me by my actions and not by my past. If I had something to say to the younger generation, I would say to slow down. To slow down and to think. Think about your consequences, think about your actions, and to educate yourselves, you know, in different areas of life.
Yeah. I do one today for Reggie, dude. It's his birthday today. Hooked him up.
For me, when I was 18, I was in California. I was in a group home from the age of 16 to 18, you know, got out of there. I was gone, hit the street, got into a little trouble. I took off, went to Arizona, but I was constantly on the move. I was always chasing something. Never built a foundation, and it caught up to me. No matter how fast I was moving, it caught up to me. Just the decisions I was making. Something I like to share with people, whether in here or on the telephone, on the outside, focus on today. I read a book by Tyler Perry called Higher is Waiting, right? And he told a story about a new home. You know, it was a new home, a lot of family members, it was dark in there, right? And this was back in the day when they didn't have lights on the cameras. He would use the screen. You know, he would wake up in the middle of the night and he didn't want to turn on the lights, you know, and disrupt all his family members that were asleep. So what he would do is he would just use the light on the screen and he would put it down and he would take steps, focus on his steps. That light couldn't shine all the way down the hall. It couldn't shine down the corner or down the stairs. But if he would focus on his steps, sooner or later he would get to his destination. That's what I try to share with people, is just to focus on your steps, man. Focus on today. You know, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow has enough problems of its own. So just focus on your steps today, whatever you got going on in your life. And one day you're gonna wake up and you're gonna realize that you've come a long way. Growing up, I never thought that I would be a beekeeper. You know, I do consider myself a beekeeper now. You know, maybe not a master beekeeper, but I've been doing this for a period of time now, and I've learned a lot, and I know a lot about their behavior. So yeah, I'm a beekeeper. You know, I share that with a couple friends and some family that I talk to out there, and they're just in total amazement. You know, I've shared some pictures with them, some still shots, you know, in my bee suits with my beehives, and they're just amazed, you know, and they share that joy with me. They tell me, they edify me, man, you're doing good, man. I can't believe it. I would never have thought. It helps them see me in a different light. It gives them the ability to actually see me being productive, and that's been a blessing as well.
I don't know if I can.
Beekeeping, it's a long process. It starts off slow. You know, you catch these bees, you know, they don't want to be caught, but you know, they start to get comfortable. I'm not gonna say they start to trust you a little bit more, but they start off a little bit less aggressive. There's ups and downs. You know, I've been stung. I got a bee sting right there on my wrist from the other day. I've been stung, but I don't take it personally. You know what I mean? It's like that in life. You know, people are they're gonna let you down. You know what I mean? But you can't take it personally, man. You just gotta keep on focusing and do your best to be there for them.
You need to take your meds, bro. Make sure you take them every day. All right, don't miss a day, bro. That's when you go crazy.
It's a long process. We start off with the empty hive, you know, we throw some bees in there, they build a little bit, they learn a little bit, we give them a little bit of sugar from time to time, a little bit of pollen, you know, the hive gets bigger, the queen starts, you know, doing her thing, laying more eggs, and at the end of the season, there's a bunch of honey. It's overflow. It's overflow, and that's what you could do with man as well. You know, just continue to put into other men, put into yourself. You know what I mean? Invest in yourself, and God will bless you. You know, and you're gonna get to a point where there's overflow. I've always wanted to be in a position where I can help others, but I was lost. You know, how am I gonna help the next guy if I don't even know who I am? I'm at a point where I am able to help others, and it's the same way. You know, the bees and life, it's the same way. There's going to be ups and downs. You're going to get stung. You're gonna get hurt. There's going to be setbacks, but if you stick with it, you're going to see honey at the end.
What's up, Jordan?
The beekeeping program it's been successful. We started with one hive that was outside of the prison. It got brought into the prison, and that's where we started. The warden came up one day, he's like, man, do you think you could do something with these bees? And you know, my boss knew that I had taken facilitator training class, and I told him, yeah. We put it all together, wrote a little book. We got 9 hives now. Started with one and we got 9 hives, you know what I mean? Just stuck with it, you know? It was a little couple setbacks, little bit of discouragement, but I kept my faith, kept my focus, persevered. We got 9 hives and many bee stings. I was just existing for a long period of time in prison, you know, just running around here, just doing nothing, you know, not being productive at all. There came a certain point where I started to take classes and educate myself, learn a lot about my insecurities, my fears, start learning from my mistakes, you know, start learning, getting to the root of why I act the way I do, why I've done certain things, why I feel the way I do, why I see the way I do, you know, and that helped me to a degree. I've learned a lot from that, you know, but there was still something missing. I was still just existing. These bees have given me a way to give back, a way to share the knowledge, a way to break down barriers.
They're doing good sounds.
We'll take guys back there to the beehives and they'll all be smiling and laughing, right? But you get that same group of guys out here on this prison yard and they won't sit at the same table together. They won't walk this track together, not for one lap. You know, they'll judge each other. But back there, they're smiling and laughing and we're on the same page. That has given me joy just to see that and be able to have the opportunity to share that with others. So this bee program, you know, some people look at it as it's a bunch of bees making honey that they donate, whatever, but there's so much more to it than that. And I see it and I don't take it for granted. And I praise God and I thank God for that blessing, you know. It's an answered prayer, you know what I mean? And I don't lose sight of that and I don't take that for granted at all.